I want to be great for you guys. No, man, it is hard as shit. It is hard as shit because there's tons of people that want to break you down. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to be the best.
Let's just say the ratings aren't the same with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever now eliminated. Game one of the Aces Liberty matchup on Sunday drew an average of 929,000 viewers. That was down nearly 50% from last Sunday's Fever Sun contest. By the way, not only was viewership down, but attendance was as well.
You assumed Caitlin Clark's elimination from the postseason was due to the departure of a single player. Rethink that the WNBA's ticket prices recently plummeted more forcefully than a missed layup. Everyone is now curious about the league's potential for recovery. This is when the intriguing part comes in. There's more to this than empty chairs. It has to do with women's basketball's future. Are you prepared to explore this rabbit hole's depths? Let's analyze the recent events. WNBA ticket prices soared up like a three-pointer at the buzzer when Caitlin Clark onto the court. We're talking about over $4,000 tickets here. Is it really true? Fans were willing to spend a lot of money to watch Clark perform because they were so excited. The price of the tickets was about $100. If there were $100 tickets available for any other major sporting event, such as the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, or NHL, they would be seen as a great deal. Hell, there are rarely $100 tickets available. The most costly seats for Caitlin Clark's performance were going for more than $4,000. The average ticket sold for $300 during her regular season role as Angel Reese. Usually you may watch Angel Reese at the Chicago Bravado for free. However, this is when things get really crazy. Those same tickets vanish faster than a player taking the lead as soon as Clark left the playoffs. For certain seats, the cost is as little as £10. It's not a little decline at all. It's a complete collapse. Tickets become more and more expensive as the team advances in the playoffs, so I was very surprised to learn that they were going for as little as $10 at the Target Center in Minnesota. StubHub reports that tickets very close to the courtside are selling for $65. For $60, you can take a seat just behind the female Suns bench. Perhaps you're asking yourself, is it really so bad? It gets worse, so grab onto your jerseys. Without Clark, WNBA playoff game viewership fell by over 50%. Just gone are half of the watchers. This is a crisis, not simply a downturn. I discovered this morning that the Target Center's top bowls weren't accessible. Why, I wonder, because they can't sell the darn seats in the lower bowl. They aren't selling tickets in those sections. And now for the issue of the century, is this the league's needed wake-up call, or is the WNBA's future already in jeopardy? Now that the initiative is in their hands, everyone is speculating about what they will do next. When they were ousted from the playoffs, as far as I know, the number of attendees decreased. The ratings fell. Now that they're gone, it would be something I would need to know. It's also this and that. What is the motive now, then? While everyone is focused on the WNBA's upcoming transition, a larger narrative is developing behind the scenes. Recall our statement that Caitlin Clark helped the league grow, and that was putting it mildly. The data is in, and it's startling. How did one athlete become into the center of attention for the whole WNBA universe? Since they attempted to provide you with all other explanations. Give me the explanations for that now. She is no longer there. Is the aging century still on duty? If the WNBA is more, then why are these fans more? I understand. Why is no one observing? Let's dissect it. Clark brought more than just a game to the floor when she took the court. She carried an arena with her. Compared to the league's normal attendance of 5,000, we're talking about average audiences of over 10,000. That goes beyond growth. It's an absolute blast if you glance ahead of Caitlin. There were about 5,000 people present. She sold out every game this year except for Caitlin's. Thus, each game will see an increase of roughly 10,000 tickets. The cost of a ticket has increased on average by almost $100. That means that each game might potentially fetch $1 million. Consequently, multiplying that amount by 14 home games yields $14 million. And that's not even taking into account other factors. Here's when things get crazy, though. Clark wasn't merely a seat warmer. She was igniting a phenomena in culture that significantly bolstered the economy. At the WNBA, games were no longer just games. These were significant occurrences. Individuals who had never followed women's basketball earlier were watching, discussing, and tweeting about it. When Clark established the WNBA as a must-watch television program, consumer spending on everything from tickets to merchandise surged. Well, I merely paid attention to the two fundamental metrics: attendance and ticket price. And that figure is already astounding if you only consider those two factors and disregard item sales, restaurant and concession expenses, and hotel costs. Perhaps you're asking yourself, isn't this a good thing? Yes and no then. You see, Clark's influence was so great that it revealed a critical flaw in the WNBA's strategy. Everything crumbled when that basket left the court since they had all their eggs in one basket. Need evidence? Consider what transpired after Clark was eliminated from the postseason. ESPN games were switched to ESPN2 by the league. It goes beyond just switching channels. It's a white flag. It sounds like they're admitting that they don't think they can draw in the large audiences without Clark. Since Fever was canceled, the ratings have decreased. Indeed. When the Fever play your favorite team, observe the attendance. When they don't, observe the attendance. What does this signify then for women's basketball going forward? Yes, it's not that simple. On the one hand, Clark demonstrated that with proper marketing, there is a sizable market for women's basketball. 22 of her WNBA games attracted over 1 million viewers, setting a new record for viewership. That is not typical. However, the league is now exposed as a result of their over-reliance on Clark. It seems as though they constructed this incredible rocket ship and are now discovering they are limited to one engine. What occurs if the engine fails to start? What does Caitlin Clark's absence from the WNBA playoffs signify, though? And the real deal is this. It's not just about Clark here. It has to do with the WNBA's overall structure. They've proven they can produce stars, but will they be able to maintain the buzz? Can they convert supporters of Clark's to the WNBA? The league faces a decision. They now need to figure out how to make it last after getting a taste of what's possible. Will they revert to their previous behaviors, or can they utilize Clark's achievement as a model? Because the situation deteriorated further. The Lakers and the Female Suns were on ESPN on Sunday night. Remember that when the Female Suns faced Caitlin Clark, their average viewership was around 2 million? These are the same Female Suns who assert that there are other draws in the WNBA except Caitlin Clark. 654,000 viewers on Sunday night versus the Minnesota Lakers. The WNBA's ratings have dropped after Caitlin Clark was ousted from the playoffs. You believe that the WNBA's main issue was empty seats. Rethink your thoughts. The league is facing some difficult decisions since its finances are looking more precarious than a rookie's first paycheck. To what extent is it bad? Let's just say that players are leaving for more favorable conditions abroad. Now, half of the WNBA is played abroad. They're currently playing in a foreign league because their WNBA salary doesn't allow them to support themselves year-round at the level they desire. They already compete in a different league. There's more to the WNBA's financial misstep than just ticket sales. The league is in serious financial problems and is under intense pressure. And here's the thing, some of the biggest players in the league earn more money from pickup games than from professional competitions. Is it really true? Furthermore, not just the players are struggling. ESPN will no longer broadcast playoff games. ESPN2 will instead. It would be akin to moving from the center court to the bleachers. It's evident that the networks aren't placing their bets on large audiences in the absence of Caitlin Clark. ESPN or TNT would televise Game 5. It would be carried by a big network. As of the last time I looked, ESPN was the proud host of fake basketball. As the proud home of women's sports, ESPN says, in light of this, why is Game 5 of the competition for the Golden Toilet airing on ESPN2? But the actual deal is this. The WNBA is enmeshed in a negative loop. To attract fans and increase their revenue, they want celebrities such as Clark. However, they are unable to pay these athletes what their worth would be. It is comparable to attempting to construct a championship squad on a lemonade stand budget. Everyone believes they ought to be earning money for LeBron James. They firmly believe that A'ja Wilson is the finest player in that particular league. Her income ranges, I believe, from $200 to $250,000. They most definitely want to earn more than that. What should a player do, therefore, when their WNBA salary? Seems more like to lose change in your pocket? Faster than a fast break, they're on their way abroad. The WNBA is fighting to retain its talent as these athletes are fleeing to other nations in search of higher salaries. Many WNBA teams have already concluded their season, and a large number of players have already left to play in other countries during the offseason. Nevertheless, several of these players are unsure if they'll even play again given the present situation and their meager salary. Furthermore, it goes beyond money. When fans' favorite players are only in the league for half the season, the league finds it difficult to maintain fan interest. When your stars are trading places with other nations, how can you cultivate a devoted following? I know what you're thinking, why can't they just raise the price of tickets? But that's the point of complexity. Already, the WNBA must balance its need to turn a profit with maintaining the affordability of its games. If you increase the cost too much, it could become the new normal to have those empty seats. It was all Caitlin's fault. She's getting support because she's different. Steph Curry seems special in this way. Tiger Woods is special. Just because I spent 10 years on the PGA Tour, the NBA, or the WNBA doesn't mean that everyone understands. That is not how it operates. Supply and demand are at play. Do they want to purchase your shoes or not? Would they like to play hoops with you? Would they like to play a game of Wilson? After all, that's the main point of this.